Welcome to the Formidable Me channel, where today we're talking to the fascinating, beautiful Danielle Stephen.
And I feel like if people have this drive and they don't, if it keeps coming back and you're not doing anything about it, like it can affect you in your relationships. I started to believe what people wanted me to believe, you know?
Yeah.
And if I'm given something new, I wouldn't think, oh, what is it? I'd be like, oh, what is it? So I think like my curiosity, and I think society wants you to think success is popularity. I think it's important for people to find ways to deal with their problems. Like, I know for me, if I write things down, it's a sense of relief. If you're on tour and stuff, like work kind of governs you. I think it's important to experience everything. Like, I don't know, I want to say to my kids, like, please go travel.
You know, I really wanted to talk to you because, of course, the time that we worked together, which was such a unique experience. I've never had one like that before, and I miss it. Like, it was such a unique thing. Oh well, but it was beautiful for a while. But you have such an interesting quality that is you. It is just you. It's what's uniquely you. And so the whole idea behind Formidable Me, like, I'm really intrigued by this superhero's journey. I'm a late bloomer in life, right? And I love that. I just turned 56, and I find I'm looking at you instead of looking at the.
Yeah.
I'm 56 and just absolutely excited and thrilled about this journey now, because I think I took a lot of things for granted.
Yeah.
I think that what we struggle in our journeys to become something, it's the same whether you're working on being a musician or whether you're going to be an accountant. Like, if you really want to be a great accountant, I think, putting your neck out there is scary for everybody. And it's kind of the essence of what we do. We jump into water deeper than ourselves. So how did you get started? Your mom was a singer.
Yeah. My mom sang from the age of like 14, and she quit when I was at college. So my mom just turned 60. She had us when she was young. Like, I'm 34. I'll be 35 in September. Yeah.
Okay.
So also kind of a late bloomer. No, in some ways, like, no kids, no house or whatever. But yeah, so my mom was singing. And I always grew up with music around the house. And I'm a twin. I don't know if you knew that. I have a twin brother. My dad would make the music up for my mom, like construct the music on like MIDI files and stuff. So anyway, there was always music in the house. And I started dancing, like, just for fun when I was like two and a half, because my mom's friend's daughter, who was a few years older than me, they went. So yeah, it was just for fun. And then when I was 8, I went to like a better dance school. It was like, oh, okay, like, you have potential. So I went to like a better one. And when I was 19, I went to university and I studied French and marketing. I wanted to dance, but I only knew of this one dance school in London. And they said, look, we finished all the auditions. Like, we're finished. So rather than wait a year, I went to university. I was still living at my parents', and I studied French and marketing. And it was in my hometown. And I was still dancing. I was working in a bar. And yeah, I wasn't actually enjoying the course. I wanted to do the course because it was marketing in French. I wanted to do it to come up with catchphrases, like puns, but in French, But we were learning like, which now is interesting. But when I was 19, we're learning topics in French about unemployment and abortion. So anyway, I quit after the year. And during that year, I applied for dance school, and I started working as a dancer, and I missed exams and my heart wasn't it. Then I applied for this school again. I got a scholarship. And so yeah, I was 19 when I went, and there was a lot of students there who were 16, because in England you can leave school at 16. So yeah, and by the time I started properly working, I'd done a few things before then, like shows on tour, like with the kids, yeah, and a few adverts. But yeah, I probably started working when I was like 21. And Tokyo Disney was the first audition I did. And yeah, which led me to an adventure in Asia. It was never my dream to go to Asia. Never dreamed to work at Disney. Like, it just kind of happened, and that's kind of how my life's been. It just happens, you know. And then you like reach to a point. It's like, oh, actually, I have some control of my life, you know. So
Talk to me about
that's
that. That's an interesting dichotomy of my life has just happened, and then realizing, wait, I do have some control because
yeah.
you're
So
not
I
in
guess like
it anymore.
I realized that. So I was in Asia 7 years total. So I came. How I ended up in Tel Aviv. I came here with Guys and Dolls. We did the show in West End, and we did a tour. And the only place we went overseas was Tel Aviv, and we came September 2016. So we just finished like going around. Yeah, we just finished going around like all the shitholes in the UK, and then we went to this beautiful place with sunshine and beach, and I was like, wow, I was at the
Okay.
beach in the day and the theatre at night. And I was like, I want this life. And also something with the atmosphere was very like open and bohemian. And I felt like it resonated with me. And I was
Yeah.
like, how can I be back there? Basically, in the past few years, I've realized the importance of putting down some roots. Yeah. And, you know, there was times like, I was like, I want to be traveling. But I don't know, it kind of grounds you, of course. And
Emotionally.
yeah, emotionally, and also it makes you feel like it helps you just align what you really want. And actually, this is what I realized during Corona. Like, if you're on tour and stuff, like work kind of governs you. You know, like yes, we enjoy doing our jobs, but you know, if like even if I was in the show now and they're like, okay, you need to come in like in an hour, we do everything we can to let them like control us, you know,
Yeah.
like and I think being in one place, it's yeah, helped me gain some clarity and perspective and like thinking about future and like where do I want to base myself, what sort of life do I want to lead, how do I want to lead it. If you're in one place, it's your choice, you know, and there's like something empowering with that.
You know, there are people that are, 34 years old out there who have not had the chance to tour. And so when I left
I would need
Utah
it.
to go to Asia, I mean, I was
Mm-hmm.
44
Mm-hmm.
when I left. And then that's when I went to Macau the first time with Cirque.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 44. So for me and other people who have not gone on tour yet, man, they're looking at the grass is greener. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think it's important to experience everything. Like, I don't know, I want to say to my kids, like, please go travel, you know, like we need
Before,
to
while you can.
what else you can. It's like, although I do have friends that have like 3-year-olds and they're traveling at the minute,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think we should experience everything. And if I'm I think had I not lived in so many different places, I would not have been able to survive. Yeah, actually, this is one thing. Every time I come back to London, I'm not from London.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Newcastle, and whilst I was in Macau, actually, both my parents are Scottish, born there. They moved to Newcastle,
Yeah.
and whilst I was in Macau, they moved to Scotland. So always, like growing up in Newcastle, it was just me, my brother, and my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Family, Scotland. Then when I studied in London, everything's always been spread out, and it was kind of like I would obviously go back to London. There was more work, but it was also the notion of like, where is home? Because my childhood home, my parents moved when I was in Macau, so it's like, and now I feel like
Oh, yeah.
I've created it at
Yeah,
home.
yeah. Tell me about in the event that somebody's looking at you going, or me in this case, man, so cool to live abroad, but that boat has sailed for me at this juncture because I have a 3-year-old, for example.
Mm-hmm.
This finding that sense of control you have and a purpose and kind of where you're going. If you haven't had that chance, what would you say to that person? Like, is it?
I don't know, I feel like if you really want to do something, like do everything you can to exhaust. like exhaust all the possibilities to try to achieve it. Like, you know, if your kid's only 3, like they're at kindergarten, you know, it's still possible to take them traveling. And I feel like if people have this drive and they don't, if it keeps coming back and you're not doing anything about it, like it can affect you in your relationships, because you will feel unfulfilled, you know. Like I feel my twin brother, he had a kid when he was 20. Okay. And he's 34, got 4 girls, and you know, sometimes he takes things out on people because there's a sense of unfulfillment within him, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's the same, like, I don't know if you, obviously it depends on this situation or whatever you're talking about, like if they have the money to do it or blah blah blah. But I, like, for example, me now, I really want to stay here. I don't know how, because I'm on a partner visa with an ex-boyfriend. Mm-hmm. But I'm doing everything I can. I'm meeting with a lawyer tomorrow to try to do whatever I can to stay here, you know. Mm-hmm. And obviously if I exert all possibilities, and I'm going to exhaust all possibilities, mm-hmm. and if it's not possible, like, I will let it go for a bit and then see if it's still within me that I want to be here, and then go back to it. So I think if you really want to do something, like, go after it and do it, and talk to people, see how you can achieve it. But if always that sense of unfulfillment will come out later, you know.
I like the idea of, like, jump, and the wings develop after you jump. Jump first, net will appear.
Yeah, and if you jump, the worst thing, you will fall. And also there's learning with when you fall.
Exactly. Tell me
it can be funny. It can be funny when you fall too.
And that's a choice, man. That's a choice. Like, you got to see the humor in it. You're really extraordinary at that. Let me shift gears a bit. What is your goal, and how are you marketing and branding yourself, and what do you want to be, and how financially, how's that going? Because being freelance is, it's up and down, isn't it?
Yeah. So I am teaching, which is, but you know, but still, ideally, I want to long term be doing like creative direction, but in the meantime, I'm just like doing like little projects with people, and kind of building a portfolio in that sort of sense, you know. Because I feel like to be a creative director, it's kind of like honing everything that I'm interested in together, you know, like visual stuff and theater and dance and art and music, like it.
And it's so clear in what's on your social media, and I'm only familiar with your Facebook and your IG, but the diversity of stuff. You do little stuff in your living room, you do something, and do you have a photographer with you all the time? You do stuff at restaurants, you do stuff in the bathroom, you do stuff on a stage, you do stuff, some of it, you know, some of it's clearly professional, and some of it's like random, but it's always creating, and it's always Danielle's got a thought. Daniel, you're at the drugstore and you like, man, have a wig out and do something. It's very creative, and it's you're flexing a muscle now that, you know, you're into your 10,000 hours on that mastery, you know.
Yeah, I need to push myself more. Like I'm putting it out there, but I'm not like knocking on someone's door saying, look what I can do. I'm just like, so like I need someone to do that for me. Actually, someone wrote to me yesterday on Instagram. He's like this ballet photographer from New York, whatever. He's got like 1 million followers, and he was like, why don't you have more followers? I was like, yeah, I'm not really taking care of that. And he's like, well, you should. I was like, well, do you have any tips? And he's like, yeah, try these hashtags and stuff. Like, I don't know, I'm not interested. I'm doing it to share. I'm not doing it for like to be popular, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I know it can make me popular, but I need someone else to do that. But I should say to someone, hey, take over the marketing, but I'm not. Yeah, and even when I work on shoots, like I'm asking like, oh, can I see what you've done? And like, I can't say this, but I know how to do it better. And if it's something that I'm doing, I'm like, okay, I know I need to do this, and I'll change it. And like, and obviously the person will get the credit, but I don't really care about credit, but it's like, I would love to be in a position to say like, I can do your job, but it's not me. So I just think it will happen. And I know it's not a good approach to have, but I believe it will. Like February, I worked and I was so busy, and I'm kind of done with being like ensemble, doing someone else's choreography. Like I want to create, like I'm not just dancing, like I want to be an artist. Like I'm in this, yeah.
Cool.
So
We're excited to watch.
I'm now turning down jobs where I think I won't benefit from them, which is good.
Is there what's been your, if you were to like say the one secret superpower you have, the one thing that's like kind of been the reason that has just helped you keep moving up in and kept you perpetuating, like what is that? What is it that people would say about Danielle? Say, man, I'm gonna pick her because
I'm very open to people and new situations and receptive and insightful, and if I'm given something new, I wouldn't think, oh, what is it? I'd be like, oh, what is it? So I think like my curiosity and like in good vibes, like
Lots of curiosity, that mindset, that it's a kind of a growth mindset. Like I can make lemonade out of anything.
Yeah.
Those aren't even lemons, and I'll make lemonade. So I like that.
And what keeps me going? Yeah, I guess it's a sense of curiosity. And now if someone asks me to do something, it's like, okay, have I done something similar? Okay, what am I going to get out of it, you know?
Have you ever just like wanted to like screw it?
Yeah. I mean, at first there were times like if I was always like too hard on myself. Mm-hmm. I'm a Virgo, which is like a really bad perfectionist, but now I feel like I'm kind of more accepting. But I remember when I worked in Hong Kong Disney, the guy said to me, you have a really nice voice, but you just need like more confidence and more training. So I had 6 weeks after I left Tokyo before I started, and I already had in my head like, I'm not good enough. And then there was 4 of us, and then we had to sing, and I cried all the rehearsals and so it's like freaking out. Like sometimes I get really in my head, and I'm not saying I feel like I want to quit because I'm like drowning in my head, but aside from these times I want to quit, in London, because also the here if there's like a rejection or something, I don't know, the way of life, the sun and the sea, it makes things better. But London is a hard city, it's very big, and any knockback just seems bigger. And I would get to the end of every job that I did, and it'd be like, oh, we don't know you because I've been in Asia for so long, and it's but we know this person, like, so it just, a lot of times I'm like, what am I doing? But that said, wow, maybe people's right, like they said dancing's like, it's just a hobby, like, and I started to believe what people wanted me to believe,
Yeah. And that's what, and we do that.
But that you do reach times that you want to quit, but I think every time you reach these points, once you hit the bottom, when you reach bottom, you can only go up once you really hit that point, It can take time to get up, but you will find yourself at the bottom, like roaming around, like, oh, what am I doing here? And then you will slowly come back together and take a little step and a little step, and it's like if you
small wins, pick it up one step at a time.
I feel like things work out as they need to.
Yeah, they do. They always do, right?
And if they don't, it's just part of a process to be where they will be, And you just don't be too harsh on yourself. Have patience, and
don't be harsh on yourself. Love yourself. That's great. Solid advice, man.
I know. I think it's important for people to find ways to deal with their problems. Like, I know for me, if I write things down, it's a sense of release. But some other friends aren't doing this, like I think it's really important to know what our triggers are and how we can deal with them. I mean, there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
But be aware.
Man, that's a process. Like, know what your triggers are.
Be patient and trust the process.
Trust the process. Spoken like a true artist.
But I want to say that success, I actually had this conversation the other day, like, I think society wants you to think success is popularity. That's actually, for example, in the Instagram thing.
Sure.
People, if you have a million likes, a million this, yeah, you're popular. But actually, someone could live in a shed and have the most simple life and be successful. So I think for me, successful is not being popular. Successful is finding your own purpose and fulfilling it. To be successful is to have a sense of fulfillment. It could be, I don't know, something so simple.
Go to Okinawa, and this is, where the centenarians live. They're 100+ years old, and they're happy, and they play cards, and they deal in seaweed. Would you say they're successful? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Couldn't be happier. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not living in any regrets. Like, oh, I wish I had. So that is a kind of a degree of success, and it's attainable to everybody at every station. It is not. It really isn't a destination. It is a state of being. Your
view of success should be like individual, not what society's view is. Like, some people could say, like, oh, Danielle, you're 34. Why don't you have a house? Why aren't you married? Why don't you have this? Like, you're not successful. Or again, people could say you've lived here and there. Like, successful is, it's perspective also, like, how people view it. But for sure, you can define it as having a sense of fulfillment.
Yeah. I've always admired people who just, I don't really care what you think. I'm not going to let the way you think change the way I'm living my life. A lot of shout out to, the gay community back at the time when that was such a horrible thing to coming out. And I just admired so much the courage it took, and then the liberation they felt. And for anybody, I still, people who are too dumb to know better, we might have said, but the fact of the matter is, like, that kind of like, I am enough. I love me. I love what I'm doing. And I am my, yeah.
That's also great advice. You're enough, and also, like, I feel also in this industry, a lot of people want to be someone else. They see someone else being successful.
Yeah, do what I
can. I think as individuals, we need to know our strengths and play upon them, but also develop our weaknesses. But also my huge weakness is that I am late for everything, but I'm not doing enough to make it better. So I'm guilty for this, but whatever. Yeah. Like,
you're on time for the things that you want to be, and
I'm only on time.
We're all the same.
If there's not a punishment.
Yeah. Yeah, Tony Robbins says this. It's either pain or pleasure. If you knew there was $1 million right at the stroke of, you wouldn't be late. Like, you'd be early, or if you knew you'd go to jail.
Yeah, or if someone said, we're going to deduct your wage if you're late, I would be there on time.
Right.
This is like my own thing, but
well, I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here and talk and share.
I'm good.
Let's bump up your IG followership.
How to do it? Do you know someone that can help?
Yeah, where do we follow you at? And we'll put it on here, and we'll start spreading the word. And yeah, man, this is how it works. It's connection.
People buy followers.
They do that too, but that does not mean it's the only way. We'll put your handle in the show notes here, and everyone make sure to check her out, because it is always interesting and thought-provoking and stimulating. Like, just you are always creating, and it seems like you do 2 or 3 posts a day. You are prolific. There's always, I don't know how you
too much.
You spend on your phone a lot. Yeah, no. But
I like to share. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sharing it to get like loads of applauses. It's just like, I'm sharing it. I think it's funny. If you think it's funny or if you think it's interesting too, great.
Awesome.
Like,
and if you don't, I don't care.
And,
all right, love you, Danielle. Stay healthy and stay happy. Stay beautiful.
You too.
Love you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
We will talk to you soon.
Speak soon.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.